I think at this point, it is fairly obvious that I love anime. The varying styles, the unique storytelling, the abundance of strange ideas, there's so much to love about this form of animation. But I do have a big problem with it. Even though I enjoy anime as much as I do, I can't fucking keep up with it. You see, I work a full-time job, I write, I play games, I make videos with friends, I keep myself busy with so much, I don't have enough time in the day to watch as much as I may want to. And this stems from the anime community's biggest problem. No, not that one. Not that one either. Fuck, okay. It is a problem in the community. It moves too fast. And this isn't just me whining about being out of the loop. This is an actual problem. Now, years and years ago, back in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, the landscape for anime was so much different. For anyone not in Japan, watching anime could be pretty difficult. Few to none of the regular TV channels would air it, and if they did, it was only during certain times of the day. The internet was either in its early stages or just not there, so watching anime online also wasn't easy. Importing DVDs was expensive, and there weren't even that many shows that got localized since few people were really doing subtitles for anime. There were more fan subs than actual official subs. We latched on to whatever we could, which wasn't too much. Plus, not as much anime was being made as there is today. Cell animation, though gorgeous, took longer and was still expensive. There weren't as many studios, so there wasn't too much anime. Over the late 2000s and 2010s, things started to change. It became much more prevalent online. Streaming services became a thing, as did piracy. Importing was easier and anime was coming out more and more. The community grew and grew and grew, ballooning into honestly something rather mainstream. It isn't some underground thing anymore if major Hollywood studios and Western companies are openly acknowledging it. However, with this, I feel like we've gotten spoiled. Because it's so easy to watch anime, and because there's so much, it has less of an impact. What used to be people recommending select shows to their friends became something more akin to other media. To consume, and then move on. I'm not trying to act like the whole "things were better in my day" geezer waving your arms at young people on your lawn or some shit. That's not what this is about. Things, in many ways, are better today than they used to be. But because the community moves as fast as it does, it's generated a few problems. First of all, it means that shows don't stick around as much as they used to, or as much as they should. There is so much anime coming out every season, and people are combing through them to find the shows they want to watch. They'll enjoy it, talk about it as it airs, and move on. Those shows will often only exist in popular discourse for as long as they're relevant, which now is only when they're airing. Plenty of great shows will be completely forgotten about a season or two later and fade away from popular discussion. Barely anything is able to become classic anymore. Shonen or isekai has a good chance, but other anime, not as much. The only way for others to stick with people is if they become popular through memes, fan art, or resonate enough with the community, like Komi Can't Communicate or Bocchi the Rock. There was an absolutely fantastic anime that came out in 2021 called Vivi Fluorite Eyes Song. It was emotional, intense, and gorgeously animated. But not as many people talk about it as they honestly should. And there are others like it that deserve so much attention that they're simply not getting. Now, one could argue that this has always happened. The anime we remember fondly from the 80s and 90s aren't the only series that came out in those decades. Great anime went under the radar then too, but they can get rediscovered because of how distinct they are from modern anime. There's a whole subset of anime fans who dig through records and bring classics back into the discussion. Plus, with services like Retro Crush, there's still enough attention going towards these old shows, because nostalgia means so much to us. Not to say that it isn't a problem for old shows, but it's less of one than for more modern shows. Secondly, This problem can detract newcomers. Gatekeeping is a serious issue for many communities, and the anime community is sadly no different. Berating casuals, hating on dubs, and even disregarding series made outside of Japan is a topic for an entire video. But in a less sinister way than those, the speed at which the community zooms through the seasons could prevent newbies from getting engaged with it. It's difficult to keep up with shows, and generally the discussion about anime will start with what's currently airing. You need to at least be a little in the loop to stay in the conversation. If you're only just getting into anime, it can be a lot. You're not sure what you like or dislike, and suddenly all these tons of new shows are being crammed in your face. Of course, starting with an old shonen is usually a good idea and will allow you to be a part of the discussion, but that pressure to stay updated is still there. And for people with full-time jobs or hobbies or anything else, that's not too easy. It's a lot to handle, and it can even be a little stressful, which is not something you want when it comes to media. And lastly, this can put some pressure on studios and animators. There's the idea of supply and demand. If there's a demand, there needs to be a steady supply. Because there are so many more people watching anime than there used to be, more of it needs to get made. The industry grew as the community grew. And unfortunately, animation still isn't taken too seriously, as writers and animators don't receive the best treatment. They don't get paid enough, they work long hours to get deadlines done, and they're not always treated right. Conditions aren't usually the best, and stress levels are high. Not to say the community is solely responsible for this one. A lot of it comes down to the industry itself, especially in terms of pay and hours. Most companies push their employees far too much, even outside of entertainment, so it's not an isolated incident. But part of that push, at least for entertainment and for anime, is because those in charge see how popular it is, and that people want more of it. Once that demand keeps coming by, the supply needs to keep up. So we are, in a way, still partially to blame for that. Also, the piracy does not help at all. Is the community going to take it easy anytime soon? Probably not, no. But I think it's best to at least appreciate what we have. If you have a few series you missed and wanted to see, check them out. Let them sit with you, remember them, and discuss them. People put their heart and souls into these shows and projects. They deserve your attention for more than just a few days. Let the shows become modern classics, savor the emotions they give you, and recommend them to friends. Spread them out and have these shows remain in popular discussion, or at least in any discussion, in any format, even if it's just in your immediate friend group. Take your time watching anime. Don't feel too pressured to constantly consume new media. Art is meant to be enjoyed. So, by all means, take your time and enjoy it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified for future content, also go ahead and click that bell as well. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.